She didn't text me back. I never heard back from them. He never emailed me back. They never contacted me about my application. These are all different problems to the same situation, where we, as the initiator of communication, want some kind of feedback from somebody, but yet we get nothing in return. So the idea for this video came up from my Steam friends list, and I've been able to expand it to now almost 500 people, but I'm still sitting on a few hundred requests. And one of the things that I noticed was that a lot of people would be sending me messages and I wouldn't respond, mainly in part because I miss the messages. The thing is that if I don't respond, just send the message again, because there's a good chance I missed it. That's usually the number one reason why I don't respond. And some people get kind of frustrated with it, and I understand why. So I always like to give out the solution that if I don't respond, just send me the message again, and that will increase your chances of me seeing it. And if that's too much work, then I'm sorry, then you just won't get a response from me. But the one thing that this kind of goes back to is people not hearing back from others when they initiate some form of communication. So the biggest problem here, I would probably say, amongst most of my audience, who happen to be men, or boys if you want to count the age, between ages 13 to 35. That's what the demographics say, that's what the analytics say. So now I'm going to go ahead and say that almost every single man living in the Western world has gone through this kind of problem at some point in their life, in that they might find a girl that they are interested in, if they are straight, try to talk to her, and get zero response back. I'm going to say probably 99.9% of all men have experienced this. And it's probably one of the most frustrating things, especially now that we're able to text message, or I don't even know what younger people do now. But you might text somebody and you know that they might typically respond right away to somebody, but to you, they just don't respond. Back around the time when I got my first cell phone, this was maybe 2003, I remember I didn't really like text messages a lot, and I would much prefer phone calls. I still do personally, by the way. But I just remember all throughout high school, I'd be texting these people and I would literally get zero response. It always frustrated me. And these were especially girls. And a lot of times they'd also be my friends. So for me, when it came to making plans, I always expected literally nothing from anybody. The best way to avoid any kind of social issues that you might have with some of your friends is to always expect literally nothing from them. And I still live by that today. But it became a problem because a lot of times guys will find one particular girl that they really like, and they'll want to text them. And a lot of times these girls might text you back. A lot of times they'll seem as if they're interested and want to talk to you. And then there's this all of a sudden streak where they just stop talking to you, where they just completely cut off communication. You don't know what's going on. You wonder if you did something bad, or you did something to make her mad, or you said something. And maybe when you're younger, a lot of times people at that age might have a lot of time to be able to text back. They might always be at their phone. They might be working a job where it doesn't demand their full attention, so they can hide in the back room to text people back. But at my age, when people don't text back, I mean, it might be for days, and it might just be because they forgot. It might just be because they're not at their phone at the time. It might be because they missed the message, which is very common for me. So really, the solution for any younger guy who's feeling like he's down on his luck with girls, and that you're not getting a response from any of the girls that you're talking to, well, chances are you're probably not talking to enough girls. And I don't mean saying that as if you need to talk to 100,000 girls at once. A lot of times disappointment comes from when you invest too much into one person. And that one person might not be investing anything in you, which then makes you feel worthless, and then you feel really bad about it, and then you crawl into a hole and curl up and want to die. That's always the worst situation. And it's hard for people. I mean, when you're in high school, there's not really that many people around. You really don't have a good sense of the world when you're in high school, and there's not really that many people you can talk to. So just know if you're anywhere from 14 to 18, you're in probably one of the most awkward parts of your life. I really like when teenage kids like to throw around the word cringe. There comes a point in time where you just stop cringing it. None of the shit matters anymore. Like, you just look at a picture of yourself and you just accept it for what it is. So the solution to people not texting you back, or specifically girls not texting you back, have no expectations at all that you're ever going to get a response from anybody. That's the first one. And the second one is that just talk to more people. I mean, it's easier said than done, obviously. Or your other option would be to talk to no people, which in some cases I've adopted that rule in certain parts of my life. So if those are the two solutions, let's move on to people who are a little older, who might not be finding jobs, who might not be hearing back from companies. The exact same rules apply. If you're not talking to enough companies, if you didn't apply to enough companies, chances are you're probably not going to find that job. If you're not annoying the hell out of the recruiters, chances are you're not going to get that job. You're probably going to get about a 90% rejection rate, if not more. So when it comes to jobs, you might apply to 200 different places. You might have emailed recruiters for every single one of them, the hiring managers for all of those jobs. But all you need is one person to say yes. And if it's 1%, if it's less than 1%, 200 people that you're applying to, you're looking at maybe one, if you're lucky, 2 people are going to say, okay, maybe we'll give you a second chance at another interview. That's the thing that people don't understand about social interaction, is that it is completely a numbers game. And a lot of times the quality of the interaction is what you're looking for. But the more people you talk to, the more you're going to have a higher chance of finding that one person to help you. One thing that I learned when I was studying to be a doctor was that you needed to talk to as many people as you could. We had an alumni network at my school, so we had a lot of people come in who graduated from the 60s, the 50s even. And you would talk to these people. Every single person that you talk to, try to find another connection to somebody else. And over the last few years, I've been able to build a professional network of more than 1,500 people personally. And do you know what? Quite honestly, of those 1,500 people, I can only think off the top of my head 2 people who would be able to help me in my career in the way that I want. That's not a very good conversion rate. So my point is this: if you're frustrated with not getting a response from somebody that you want to get a response from, the best thing that you can do is to keep trying. Some people might think that they're being annoying. You're going to have to try to get past that, because in reality, the more visible you are in somebody's eyes, the greater chance that you're probably going to get favored to them, or that they're even going to notice you in the first place. So this goes for guys looking for girls with interest romantically. This looks for people with interest in trying to find jobs, or just people in general trying to get a response from somebody that they want a response from. So just remember this. 1, have absolutely no expectations for any kind of social obligations from anybody. Number 2, increase the number of people that you're surrounded by. And that's a lot easier said than done. And you increase that number because your conversion rate of somebody having something that you would need, being able to help you in a way that you want to be helped, is probably going to be less than 1%. So for every one person that's going to help you in a way that you want, you'll have met anywhere from 100 to 1,000 people in between. And third, if you do find somebody that you really do like, or a company that you like, or somebody that you really want a response from, do your best to get in front of them as often as possible. In my eyes, the more effort I see from somebody to try to get my attention, because I am in a hiring position where I am too. I hire people, and usually the ones who get hired are the ones who message me the most, and I find that their qualifications are the best. It's very difficult for me because I come into contact with so many people every single day, either on the internet or at work. It's very difficult for me to discern who's who, except those who are most visible in front of me, and those who I look at their skills, I look at how they advertise themselves, and those things to me are the most attractive. And those are the people that I end up picking. This isn't really nepotism, it's just that I don't really have a lot of time to be searching through thousands of people every single day, because I come into contact with them no matter what. So with that being said, if you're a younger guy and you know you're feeling a little down on your luck, don't worry about it. Just get yourself in front of more people, and you'll find this out once you're in college, or if you don't go to college, once you get out into the working world. It's very easy to move on from one thing to another when it comes to social relationships. You just have to have the mindset for it. But anyways, that's it for today. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. I hope you did, and I hope I gave you some insight on how I see social relationships. And subscribe if you'd like to see more. Anyways, thanks so much for hanging out with me this weekend, and I will see you in the next one. Adios, amigos.